Portuguese well, he's Portuguese, and he experienced the rainbow event off planet, whereas I am, you know, Fleur Brun here, and I'm a brown copper woman who's from here, and I'm taller and bigger, and I experienced the rainbow event on planet, on the hologram inside the simulation. It was interesting because Neo had a wonderful perspective. I think at the time, YouTube and a lot of other of the Willy Wonka systems were trying to stop or sharing what happened. And now I realize now, because hindsight is 2020, that the reason why we experienced the event, it was a preamp of what's to come. I got to give props to him because he was the only other one that experienced the actual rainbow event at the same time, simultaneously. I actually was able to take on the rainbow event physically, where he had to go off world. I think I have. Hold on now. Okay. So hold on. Okay. Hold on. Are you going out? I have company, y'all. Hold on. Okay. I had company. I have to keep some anonymity to my company. Okay. So I apologize for that. I hate to keep you out of everything, but I don't share everything. Okay. So I have the is everybody here still? Are you guys here? Hello? Ribbit? Hello? Ribbit? Let me know that you're here. Put a 13. Okay. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. It's very loud. Okay. Sorry about that. What's that? What are you doing, Cookie? Are you naughty? Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry for the interruption. It was a froggy situation. Okay. So I had gone through the event, and this occurred with the rainbow event that happened in the South Bronx. Many people were very upset in the whole love and light community. They thought, how dare you, big fat brown woman, experience. Hold on, y'all. I'm so sorry, everybody. I was hearing a lot of noise in the sound, and that was just bad. Sorry, y'all. Put a 13 if you hear it. I hate interruptions. I apologize. That's all on me. Just let me know if you can still hear me. Put a 13 if you can still hear me. I apologize about that. Sometimes I don't like doing that, but if I hear a weird sound, I got to react to it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so I experienced the rainbow event. People were very upset in the love and light community. They felt like they were insulted that a brown woman who was going in the South Bronx had experienced the rainbow event. They felt like it was below them to acknowledge that I experienced the rainbow event. So many of you know at the time, I had some amazing interviewers who interviewed me at the time when I had the rainbow event occur. And Neo actually he had multiple interviews. I really appreciated his perspective on what he experienced as well. So if you remember Neo, again, I don't know where he is. I never got a chance to talk to him. Allison Coe was really demonized because a lot of people felt that she had said something that was untrue, and a lot of people were waiting for it and they didn't experience it, and they really went after her. And because I experienced it, they felt like it was it was something that they didn't want to acknowledge. And that's what I'm saying. The love and light community, don't let them fool you. Oh no, they are very hateful. And I was interviewed on this gentleman's show. He was really sweet. And I just remember this because at the time it was such a beautiful, exciting experience. It wasn't anything I would have acknowledged that happened to me, that could have happened to me. And when it did, I felt kind of torn a little bit, if I can be honest, because of the way I was treated. And I shouldn't have been shocked, but I really was. I think I wasn't so much shocked as I was caught off, because these are the people who claim that they don't see color. They'll say, I don't see color, even though they wear like a red bag and with red shoes. They don't see color. They said these things, and they really were insulted that in the South Bronx, they felt like living somewhere in a bougie town where they've accrued a lot of income to sit and do yoga all day and, do communes with the angelic, Pelagians with blonde hair, blue eyes. And, they were doing meditations with, 5,000 pops of ayahuasca. Like they felt it was beneath them to even acknowledge that I may have experienced the rainbow event in the Boogie Down Bronx. I share this all to say because what I'm going to share with you is very important. And at the time, I think I knew that the phenomenon was really a big deal. And it stayed on me, that rainbow energy stayed on me. If you were around at the time, rainbow energy was on me. It transmuted me. It made me, just really, because it was in me, it just made me into an amazing person. Like I felt bliss, and in a way that I haven't ever experienced before. So it lasted roughly about 2 weeks. And, Rudolph of Germany also was the one who assisted me during this rainbow event. Many of you know, I know that many of you may not have an affinity for Rudolph, the tall white aliens, but just at the time, if he didn't give me the verbal cue that I would be okay, I don't know that I would have properly made the interface with the rainbow. Okay, so all this to say, you can check out the old videos. YouTube took a lot of it down. If you want me to reference it, I can also probably find one of the videos. I saved a lot of my videos from YouTube and try to find it and then upload it to my Rumble account. So let's fast forward now I realized at the time of the rainbow event that we were experiencing this type of change or shifting every single March. It's like a cylindrical pattern, and around March time, and if you remember, at this time on 2011, there was this phenomenon that was occurring. Now, some of you who are from this community kind of remember it, but I'll just refresh you. 2011, there was this phenomenon that was happening to the black birds. Do you remember, everyone, when the black birds were dropping out from the sky? It started in Arkansas. Anybody from Arkansas, you probably remember this first. 2011 was the first time publicly it was denoted that massive amount of blackbirds dropped out of the sky and died. Okay, do you remember that? Anyone in Arkansas, I think you guys definitely would be the first time witnesses of that. It was a phenomenon that we in a certain community were looking at, which is really, really intricately. Then again in 2012, it occurred again in January. That's when I realized that there was something going on where it was occurring in a cylindrical pattern, like almost like a program every January. And the social media and the news, the fake news was saying, oh, it's because of the fireworks that they died or they dropped out of the sky. I mean, the birds obviously were, some of them had broken necks. Some of them just looked like they had heart attacks. It didn't make sense. It happens, I think, about 3 to 4 years in a row. January, it started to happen more frequently throughout the years, like not so much January, like sometimes in the rest of the year, like sometimes in April, in November, and sometimes December. But notably, the beginning of the phenomenon that you would call the killing of the birds dying, blackbirds specifically, was in January. Now, after the January of 2011, 2012, 2013, then you also started to notice the beaching of the whales, the dolphins were coming on, mass deaths of fish, like multitude of places where fish were showing up on shore or floating in the ocean where they transitioned. Okay, so I wanted to share that because we're going to build right now. So around that time, we had these phenomena that were occurring. Later on, when I experienced the rainbow event, in 2015, I experienced some weird kind of physical, like I started to get heart palpitations. And I wasn't sure what was going on. It was frightening. For many of you know, if you've ever experienced like fluttering in your heart, and it wasn't something you've ever experienced before, you know that it could be frightening. So I was a big faster. Many of you know I fast during the season. So I would do a fast. I would do like a green juice fast for maybe spring. Then I would do like another fast, like a water fast for like 7 days during the fall. I would do a fast every season to kind of reset my body. And I was working out and healthy. I wasn't as heavy as I am now, but many of you know that I was pregnant. So obviously I'm a lot thicker now. I was just recently pregnant with 2 babies. Okay. So I'm just a little thicker now, but then I was more in shape. I was healthy. I was working out all the time. I was dancing, and I experienced these heart palpitations in 2015. And what occurred is that I couldn't understand where they were coming from. And I had gone to a physician and tried to get a synopsis of, a breakdown of where it was coming from. And they did multiple tests on the heart, blood screening, things that I actually asked them to do, just to see if there was anything health-wise that were the reasoning for these heart palpitations. And unfortunately, at the time, there was gratefully, let me say, gratefully at the time, I was 1000% healthy. I had a beautiful, healthy heart, great blood screening because I fast all the time and I was dancing. So obviously I'm healthy, and the doctor had said at the time, we think that you're suffering from anxiety. Anxiety? Now, if you remember, y'all, Fleur, Brun, I've had some things that happened in my life that, was less than flattering, but anxiety wasn't one of the things that, you think to yourself, like, why anxiety? I was dancing all the time. I felt great about my body. I had just done Carnival. I had danced in Carnival in Orlando, Florida. What was I anxiety ridden about? So I'm building, y'all. So just stay with me. Purple Ground Beam is your new rap name. Jose's in the house. What up, Jose? He said his new rap name is gonna be Purple Ground Beam. I love it. So at the time, the doctors just said it's probably anxiety. I didn't know where it was coming from. And first of all, they tried to give me a whole bunch of drugs, because your United fakes and it's pharmaceutical and medical, it's medical community are a bunch of jokes. Okay, they'd like to medicate you and make you addicted to drugs and opioids and all that stuff, rather than dealing with the core of a young lady who's experiencing a phenomenon that doesn't have any origin. But I'm going to tell you something, y'all. So at the time, I went to Dr. Don. Many of you have listened to the interview I done with Dr. Don on Blog Talk, or seen him when I've had him on YouTube. He's an amazing naturopathic doctor, holistic. I've given a lot of the regimens that Dr. Don gave me, but he let me know that Orlando was a beta test city for 5G. I'm building, y'all. I'm getting there for 5G. He let me know that. And that what I most likely was experiencing with the heart palpitations was the initiation of a new technology that was causing and emitting a frequency that was destabilizing and causing animals and human bodies to react in ways that they didn't have any reference for. Why is this important? Because it's hugely under announced or under reported how many people during the time, especially the beta test cities. Orlando was one. There's probably a multitude of cities that you guys were in that it happened to you, that at the fact, and probably in Arkansas, you also most likely had towers or a new 5G towers that were being initiated or turned on at the time. We know now the birds were reacting to this frequency that was causing them to go through a form of like mental inertia, and they were dropping out of the sky because it was, their little brains weren't able to take on this sonic type of technology, this frequency that was causing them to become disoriented and inevitably falling from the sky to the floor. Okay. And because, I was experiencing this type of heart palpitation, this physical heart palpitation that was affecting me, it also was denoted at the time. I spoke to another naturopathic doctor I think he was located in California, where he also said that people, and this is where that's why I say, I've become a trans frog, because people are calling me prejudiced for denoting that darker skinned people take in frequencies, and they take it in higher doses because melanin attracts frequencies. It does. So because I was a darker skinned female, I was pulling in the 5G frequencies. I was taking in these frequencies, and it was causing my body to react like disharmonious. You know what I mean? Like my harmony was off. My beat was off. Okay. And why do I mention the melanin? Because what were the first birds that dropped from the sky, y'all? What color were the birds that dropped from the sky in January of 2011? Because you call me a racist. So you say that we're all the same. You don't see color, but what color were the birds that dropped from the sky in 2011? Were they white birds? Were they blue birds? Were they red birds? Okay. So why do I share this? Is because, there needs to be an acknowledgement that everybody experiences something that happens to them because biologically they're more susceptible to it. To denounce someone else's experience because you feel uncomfortable about them denoting it isn't my problem. The fact of the matter is, all of these birds that dropped first were black birds. Why? Is because black, it has a wider range of I told you, a wider bandwidth. It takes in more frequencies. So when they turn on the goddamn frequencies of this 5G, it literally messed with people with darker skin. It just did. And when I experienced, not to say it didn't anybody else, because a lot of lunars experienced it, a lot of my lunar girlfriends experienced it later, but initially, who it first affected was brown people who were taking in these frequencies who didn't know where it was coming from. To acknowledge that, if you call me a racist for acknowledging it, you can't call me that because I'm a frog now. I'm a trans frog. So if you call me that, you're just totally out of loop. You're out of the lily pad, genre to say that. Okay? It was affecting them. And what happens is that when I was experiencing these heart palpitations, and one of the naturopathic doctors, I think he's from California, LA, as a matter of fact, he was saying that a lot of people who were a couple people that were coming from, I think it was India at the time. I'm not sure if it was Bangladesh. They were having the same types of reactions. Okay. Now, why does that matter? I'm going to build upon this because now as time went on, remember the frequencies first initially probably affected those people, but inevitably it affected everybody. So yes, I'm just saying the beta test of the frequencies literally was affecting the black birds and people of darker hues, but inevitably it started to affect the bees, it started to affect the other birds, it started to affect lunar women, light-eyed, light-haired, it started to affect men. Men were having issues with having like pre-stroke and let me explain something to YouTube. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not talking about any medical information. This is my own personal experience and what I denoted caused issues with me and my body. And actually medical doctors were the ones who told me that I was reacting to a frequency called 5G that was causing a destabilizing of my body. And many of you know, because I was fasting all the time, because I probably was getting a wider bandwidth, people were having double periods, right? So I just was pulling in these frequencies and I didn't have any reference point. So why does this make a difference? At the time, you have to realize that when they put on this new technology and it was causing our bodies to be disharmonious, and then eventually it didn't just affect the black birds, it affected all the birds. The bees were dying, the bees were dropping. Remember, I think in 2015, 16, the bees, we were seeing bees, the bees dropping on the floor. I mean, I remember I was in the backyard and I was wondering my bees, you know, because I have a beautiful flower patch in the backyard, and the bees were struggling and it seemed like they were disoriented. I saw a bee and he was just going in a circle and circle, and I took him up and put him in my little fairy garden and he felt better, but I put him in a little bubble, like a little dome. And it seemed like whatever was happening frequency wise, he was being affected by it. Okay, so that being said, we're going to talk about what's happening and where the rainbow event is going to be the exit and the eviction of people out of this particular firmament Earth simulation, and how the purple lights is literally being erected all over the place as a way to get you numb so that you won't understand and understand what that means to you specifically. Okay, so the other night I was made aware that the purple lights that we are seeing all over the place were being placed strategically around places. Now, I can't vet out, let me state this, I can't vet out why they're placed there, like why they're being specifically placed in certain, like sometimes you'll see in one city the purple lights will be on one street but they won't be on all the other streets, or you'll see the purple lights only set up in one or area, like by an arena or by a bus stop, but they won't be anywhere else. They're being purposefully strategically placed around cities around the United States. Now, for my European family, my African diaspora family, my family from Asia, please let me know if you have the purple lights, because then I can bring in the references to the purple lights to you. But I definitely know that they're getting people used to it. And I want to thank Yafi for sharing some pictures of the purple lights that were happening in Israel at some sort of event. Also, for this event that happened with the Xi Jinping that came over here to come to his new country. Because y'all, if you didn't know, China, this is Chinese, this is China, America, okay? China, Xinhua bought this entire country, okay? Just letting you know. So when he came and he had flags and everything, everybody was upset about it. But why are you upset? Because he bought all